parents are not going to accept indoctrination in our schools, cancel culture in our work, or the repression of traditional faith, culture, and values in the public square. Not anymore. The only path to national unity is through our shared identity as Americans. That is why it is so urgent that we finally restore patriotic education to our schools.
Let's get more on this from Jason Nichols, who's a Democratic strategist and a lecturer in the African American Studies Department at the University of Maryland. He joins us now from Ellicott City. Jason, really good to have you with us. I think it's important for our global audience to first define what the president is trying to say when he talks about patriotic education. And also the other component of this is the president taking aim at something called the 1619 Project.
Well, what the president is essentially doing is he is trying to ignore the contributions of African Americans, Asian Americans, and Latinos and other groups to the American narrative. He's trying to make this a white nation, essentially. This is white nationalism. It's a very troubling and dangerous time. And just like in many of the people, many of the people who are probably watching this, your international audience, some may come from places where there have been dictators, and part of being a dictator is ordering education to be taught a particular way and to teach a particular perspective, rather than opening it up for discussion, allowing for students to have debates, and allowing for different types of information to come in. And one of the things that Howard Zinn, the great historian, great American historian, once said is that dissent is the highest form of patriotism. So if you want to be patriotic about education, you show many sides of what has happened in our society. The 1619 Project essentially did that. There are some historical flaws that historians debate or historians have issues with, but the essential idea that slavery was essential to our republic and it still affects American life is something that most historians agree with, and they love the idea of showing the centrality of slavery to the American narrative. Donald Trump wants to destroy that and wants to change the narrative and make it basically a white nationalist narrative that everyone falls under. And it's a very troubling time.
Jason, we are knee deep in the 2020 U.S. presidential election right now, with both campaigns full throttle here. So when you listen to an address like this from the U.S. president, who is he speaking to?
Well, he's clearly speaking to his base, mainly white, working class, and actually not even just working class, some upper class but he's certainly not speaking to people of color. He's not speaking to African Americans who want for us to recognize the sins of our past. And one of the things that I think your audience will connect with is that if a nation doesn't recognize what it's done in the past, and the issues that it's had and the problems that it's had and created and eventually gotten over, they are doomed to repeat those same mistakes. And that's what the major danger that Donald Trump is presenting our nation with in terms of changing the way we educate or dictating the way we educate children. So I think he's mainly speaking to his base, that kind of raucous white nationalist base, the people that read certain sources and don't want to hear about the contributions of African Americans and Latinos and gay, lesbian, and bisexual people, and all of the people who have created the United States of America. We're a multinational, multi-ethnic, multiracial nation who should appreciate everyone's contributions. And that's what makes us such a great nation. But apparently, Donald Trump doesn't feel that that is so.
Jason, we know that this has become obviously a very polarized political issue right now, but what is the role that educators have to play here?
I think educators, what I would say to any teacher is keep teaching the way you've been teaching, keep teaching students, uh, educating them in multicultural ways that show why the diversity of this nation made it great in the first place, why we've gotten to over slavery and over Jim Crow by the efforts of African Americans and white folks and others getting together and realizing that something was wrong and righting that wrong. Keep teaching the truth. Don't allow for the president to come through and dictate what you teach and threaten you based on funding for schools. I think that that is dangerous. And whenever you see something that is unjust, and this is something that Dr. King strongly believed, and when you see something that's unjust, you have an obligation to break that law or break that rule. If it is an unjust law, you must break it. Not you can break it, you must break it in order to make your nation a stronger place. And that's what I would tell any educator. Don't worry about what Donald Trump is saying. He has a political agenda. You have a devotion to the truth, and that's what you have to teach. And you also have to leave a door open for all types of discussion. That includes his perspective, also, more inclusive perspectives as well.
Jason Nichols, we really appreciate you being here on this topic. Thanks so much.